of ownership and 15,000 miles later, an in-depth owner's review of how she's performed. I'm going to go over any changes I've made to the bike. I'm going to go over how she's performed over the last 15,000 miles and any work I've needed to have done to the bike, any problems I've had with the bike, and to round off I'm going to go with any future plans I've got for the bike coming into 2023 and for the rest of 2022. So if you're interested in the Triumph Speedmaster and what it's like from an owner's review with some hard miles under the belt, stay tuned. Let's get out of the way and go over quickly first what I've had done to my my bike. She's a 2019 model. I bought her with 850 miles on for demonstration purposes and proof. From 850 miles, as you can see there, the ODO, she now has 16,085 miles. So as you can see, I've obviously put a few more miles than the previous owner had on it. I've been using it extensively pretty much every day for the past year. Things that I've done to the bike. Well, first off, I went for the Vance & Hines chrome slip-ons. Either side you got dual exhaust each side of the bike on the Triumph Speedmaster, along with a X-pipe decat as well, just to free up the exhaust flow a bit, let the exhaust gases run a bit more and make it sound nicer. After that I went for the highway screen here, big highway screen, as I was planning on lots of touring, and I have done lots of touring, and it's nice to have that extra wind protection up front. So on some aesthetics, other things I've had fitted to the bike. I've had these highway bars, sort of engine crash protection bars fitted here, official from Triumph. To this I've fitted actually some highway pegs here just for longer cruising and for comfort, to be able to, you know, stretch out your legs on those longer rides and rest them on the highway pegs. What else? So these tank pads here, the brown sort of half leather tank pads from a company called Trip Machine. I fit those myself. I've had those fitted. I'm really pleased with those. They're actually one of my favourite additions. I think the brown against the black paintwork looks lovely. Also, I've had some Trip Machine same leather hand wraps I have fitted to the handle grips as well, just to beef them out a bit and add to the brown colours. I've also had a few Motone accessories fitted. So yeah, from a company called Motone, they do some great parts for Triumphs, Triumph Bonnevilles, Royal Enfields, all sorts, really good. I'm not affiliated, just to let you know, but check them out if you want some cool parts, they're great. But I've had like a brass cap here, a Union Jack brass cap fitted to the oil reservoir, which is a nice little touch, I think. Goes with the brown and the black nicely again. I've also had some handlebar risers. They're called the 1-inch up and over. They basically go up and back towards you 1 inch, just to make it a little bit more comfortable, a little bit more cruisy on those longer rides. And for what I like about the Motone things, they're quite subtle. You can overdo it, but I went quite subtle. I went for also as well, if you can see down here, a brass gear lever end there just to fit on. Just a nice little touch. It catches your eye every now and then, which I like. And last thing that I've had done to the bike, but very much not least, is boom, straight in. This was actually one of the early things I went. Actually, no, it wasn't. Say that again. I went on a tour and my derriere, my behind, was a little bit sore, so I changed out the standard Triumph seat for an official from Triumph comfort seat for the Speedmaster, which is much better. Highly recommend that. And I've also, not much, but quite recently taken off the pillion seat, because I rarely take a pillion. It's not needed, and I actually quite like the stripped down look it gives. Alright, so before I get on to a couple of small problems, we'll get on to that in a bit, the problems, but how has she performed overall? In those miles, as I said earlier, I have been riding her pretty much, honestly, every day of the year. I've gone on 3 tours through Europe. So the first one was through the Pyrenees Mountains, into Spain, through the north of Spain, through Andorra and into southern France. Then I did the Alps. I went from Monaco, very flashy place, from Monaco all the way through the Alps up to Lake Geneva, which was brilliant, all on the Speedmaster. And then my last tour was actually through northern Portugal, through a place called the Jura Valley, stunning place where there's yeah, some of the world's best wine is made there. So yeah, and through all of those tours I have had a tent strapped to the back, I've had 2 panniers on, I've had a tank bag on, and as you can imagine, some of the roads, especially through the Alps, are not the best. They're bumpy roads, tricky conditions. Overall, bar the problems that I will mention in a bit, this bike has been flawless. Honestly, it's not built for huge tours, etc. That's not really what it's made for, but I have been pretty much beasting this bike and pushing it to the max, hence the 15,000 miles in a year. And she's been an absolute dream. She's just chugged along. That 1200cc high torque version of the Bonneville engine has been dreamy, just pulling, chugging along, tractoring along. When you get to the twisties, the Speedmaster is surprisingly fun with the 16-inch wheels and the inherent Triumph great handling. She's been great fun. On top of that, the comfort of the Triumph Speedmaster, along with my comfort seat and the highway pegs I've put on, have just been great as well. So I've been comfortable on all of the tours. So we are just coming through the stunning Cheddar Gorge. Highly recommend, beautiful ride. Unfortunately, it is a bank holiday, so it's going to be very busy. But yeah, as for everyday use, Speedy, have I had any problems there? How's she been? Overall, again, I must say, she has started every single morning. I've started her up. Now that may be down to she's getting good use, so when bikes, or from mainly any vehicle for that matter, if you're using it a lot, they like to be used. You get, you know, get all the fluids, excuse me, running through the engine, the battery's always charged. Yeah, I've had absolutely no problems, even in the depths of winter in the UK, you know, it's 0 degrees out there, I'll still go riding, and yeah, she starts every single time. She's been really good. Great for a daily use motorbike as well. Another thing that I've thoroughly enjoyed about the Speedmaster, and is actually one of the main reasons I bought her in the first place, is just that overall charming feel it gives you, and you get from other people, the smiles you get from other people and the nice looks. It's just an endearing motorbike. Even people that don't know anything about bikes just always come over and have a chat and appreciate the looks of the Speedmaster. It's not an intimidating looking bike, it's an endearing, charming bike, I think. And every time I look out the window and she's there, yeah, it's just awesome. Absolutely love it. So before we get on to just some negatives and a few little problems I've had. It's only short Cheddar Gorge, but it is spectacular. I just wanted to show you. Hopefully you get some good views on the GoPro. Have to watch out for the hikers and climbing. Go on, son. Ripping it around that corner on his scooter. There's a climber up there, look, with his missus spotting him. Oh, hopefully he hasn't pissed her off. Incredible, look at the sheer drops. Really tight corner here. Woof, look at that. Whee! Oh, right, let's find a spot to pull over, and I'll run you through the little things you might want to be aware of about the Speedmaster and some problems I've had. What a gorgeous day. I hope you've all enjoyed your summers out there, whether you've been riding or not. I hope you've all had a good one. So, problems with the Triumph Speedmaster over the 15,000 miles? There really hasn't been any. There's only been one problem that's been the bike's fault. I've had a couple that haven't been, but if we get the one out of the way that was potential issue with the bike, and then I'll run over the others. So what it was the steering head had worn out a bit, so I was getting a wobble at the front end of the bike whilst going around a corner. It was a bit unnerving. I thought maybe it's the tyre pressures, etc. So pumped the tyres up correctly, everything's absolutely fine, the condition of the tyres were fine. Anyway, I took it to the garage and it was the steering head had a notch in it. For some reason this was after about, I think, 8,000 miles, so I had to change the steering head on it just to sort that out. So that is really the only problem I've had in the bike in the 15,000 miles. That has been the bike's fault. Another problem, guys, which is not really the bike's fault. I don't want to blame it on myself because it easily happens, but I was riding along, I think it was on the M4 coming out of London, and yeah, hit some debris. It must have been big because I heard it and felt it, big clunk on the bottom of the bike. And anyway, pulled over luckily at a garage to inspect it, and the whole bike's oil had just dumped itself on the road and in the garage. So luckily I had pulled over because the rear wheel was covered in oil. Basically I hit the debris. It must have been something quite big and heavy. It hit the oil sump on the bottom of the bike and put a big hole and crack in the oil sump. So yeah, I've actually got a video on that. I'll pop a link up if you want to see that. But yeah, had to get that changed out. A whole new oil sump and brand new tyres front and rear. But that's not really the bike's fault. Could have happened on anything. You could blame it on the low ride height, which potentially, but lots of bikes have low ride heights. Nothing to do with the build quality. Okay, so whether this problem is this specific bike, I'm not sure. I highly doubt it. And regular viewers of my channel will know about this ongoing problem. I'm not going to adjust it because I may break it, and it's been behaving recently. The left wing mirror, left-hand wing mirror, used to live in London, in the city. I used to pull in the wing mirrors to filter through traffic, to obviously make the bike thinner to get through traffic. Every time I pulled that left wing mirror in, it would just completely loosen it up and it would flap forwards, rear, and then I'd have to carry a Allen key with me, or Torx key, and tighten it up every single time I adjusted that left wing mirror. The right one's absolutely fine, it was just the left. I have a feeling it was down to the thread, the positioning of the direction of the thread. So when you pull the wing mirror in, you're actually theoretically loosening the wing mirror on the thread. So yeah, that was a bit of a problem. But I've had that problem on other motorcycles I've owned in the past as well, so I'm not going to put it down to the Speedmaster. I don't think it's something you would have to worry about if you're considering the Speedmaster. So that is it. That is everything problems-wise. Really nothing bad at all, considering it's done the 15,000 over 12 months, 1 year. The only real thing that was due down to the bike was that steering head that I had to replace. Other little problems, but this is not this bike. It's nothing wrong with the bike. It's just a style of bike. I personally, a little bit larger luggage capacity would be nice for those touring trips, and a tent. I find myself cramming everything on it. Can be sometimes impractical, but that's mainly due down to, you know, this style of bike. It wasn't designed for that originally, and I'm being a bit of a cheapskate. I can buy bigger luggage for it. I'm just saving some pennies. Another thing, possibly a weak point on this, on the Speedmaster specifically, is the rear shock suspension. So when I was going through the Alps, or you don't have to be in the Alps, anywhere bumpy, potholes, if you hit anything, that rear shock can clunk. It's quite a big bump. You can replace the rear shock with aftermarket ones, but again, I'm being a cheapskate and saving money. It's really not a deal breaker. Look how busy it is here. Bank holiday and the sun's out. Cheddar Gorge gets absolutely rammed. Benefit of being on a bike, I think we'll be able to find somewhere to pull over and squeeze in. All of the merry folk out admiring the local sights, Wookey Hole Caves and Cheddar Gorge. Very spectacular place to come and visit. Any plans for the future? For the very positive looking future with the Triumph Speedmaster for finishing off 2022 and coming into 2023. I've got a few future plans. One is an almost definite. I'm not sure when I'm going to do it, but I think it's going to be quite soon. And that is performance of the bike. I've been actually researching it for a while now, and there's a company up north called Tech Bike Parts, TEC Bike Parts. Again, I'm non-affiliated with them. I like them. I got my X-Pipe from there, the D-Cat, and they're good. They've made a bespoke shift cam, shift cam. I've been riding a BMW Boxer camshaft for the Triumph Speedmaster 1200 Bonneville engine. It's used in the Thruxton, and I believe possibly the Speed Twin, not 100%, but anyway, it's not too expensive. It's around 300 quid, and we can fit it to this engine and bring the power up by quite a amount actually, because it's not underpowered, the Speedmaster. I'm very happy with it. but I would not turn my head away from more power, and apparently it brings the horsepower figure up to around sort of just below 100 brake horsepower, which is a quite a rise in horsepower. So yeah, that is a potential for the future. Just to ring out, if I ring it out now, I mean, it keeps on pulling for quite a while actually, but in the lower gears, and this is partly due to gearing, but I would like a little bit more of a longer stretch of legs in those lower gears. So my thinking is that camshaft could really be sweet along with an engine tune. So that's one for the future. Other than that, guys, I don't really have any plans of modifying the bike. I've got her in a really great position that I'm really pleased with. If I have a windfall of money, I will very much be looking into a Corbin seat, a spoke Corbin seat, but at the moment that's a little bit out of my price range. They are very nice. Other than that, it's just keep riding. I'm going to be using her almost every day for the foreseeable future, and just enjoying the Speedmaster and loving life. After 15,000 miles and 1 year, I'm actually blown away by the quality of this bike. I've had other bikes and not done that many miles, and they've had much bigger problems than what this has had. I'm very, very impressed. So yeah, wherever you are, guys, if you're interested in the Speedmaster, I hope this video has been useful for you. A nice in-depth look into it after a year's use. And yeah, that's the plan. Continue riding, continue enjoying the massive benefits of motorbiking and the freedom and the love for biking. That's the future plans, 100%. Shout out to mental health awareness. If you're feeling bad, hang in there, possibly go out for a ride, or if you haven't got your license, consider getting your license and riding a motorbike. So it's been, this last year for me on Speedy, my baby here, has been very special for me when I started this YouTube channel as well. So I'd actually like to say a massive thank you to all of my subscribers, for all of you from subscribing. It's really brilliant. It's gone much better than I could have hoped for. I basically started the channel really just for my mental health and to ride my motorbike more and sort of document it along the way, but it's sort of slowly morphing into something a bit more than that, which I'm really pleased about, and it's doing my mental health a world of good. So yeah, massive shout out to all of my subscribers and my loyal subscribers as well. You know who you are. Thanks for watching, guys, and yeah, stay happy, ride happy wherever you are, whatever bike you ride, enjoy the ride. That's all it's about. See you in the next one. Ciao bella.